A lot of events to talk about. Hope you like my hairstyle. Haircut. Looks better. Okay. I know I've told people about this already. That's visible. What is this? Does anybody know? So we can get this a little bit, pan out a little bit. No, not really. Anybody know what this is? Seen anything like that before? Crazy, isn't it? Those crazy people. You know, they're not even worth talking to. Actually, that's mine. Yeah, after the government protest that you can see on there, it's about 2,000 to 3,000 people that came to hear Alan Keyes speak, and I went back and picked up this sign as people were leaving, and I started holding this up for people to see it, walking around with it, and showing it to cars. And somebody gave me a copy of the Constitution, which, I think, I'll say most people, but I think a lot of people think, well, we're beyond, whatever that means. We're beyond the Constitution. We don't need a Constitution. But anyway, so I was walking around with that, and somebody called and so asked me what my name was and what I was holding in my hand and all that stuff, and what does this mean? And he was on the cell phone a lot, so I don't know. He may have been calling someone, or just finishing up a phone conversation or whatever. Anyway, so they try to do it so you don't see it coming. But this man walked up to me, older man, 60s or 70s, and he said, "Oh, what is this?" And I explained to him what it was, as I've explained to you in other videos what it is. And he said, "Well, he said, if you were to say one thing that you're about," and like he pointed to the sign. He said, "What would you say it's about?" I said, "Well, like justice, freedom." And he said, "Oh," he's to listen, talk to me. And he said, "Well, I'm about Jesus Christ." And I thought, I should have seen this coming. God help me. And he said, "I've been a pastor. I'm a retired pastor." I thought, "Oh, please help me." And he kept on asking me if I was going to be in heaven and all this crap. And it was your typical, used car salesman preacher, or whatever, they're all the same. And people don't like to hear that. But anyway, so that was one encounter, and I talked with some people. I got a copy of the Constitution, and somebody was rather upset that I was holding a protest sign that wasn't officially accepted, and a sign. He never said, "Oh, well, I hope things work out for you," or, "Oh, okay, now I see." He's kind of checking off the things, and this person doesn't fit what I think is acceptable. And he was talking to somebody on the phone. But anyway, I was walking back to my car. Went back to a parking garage, where you typically have to pay money to park there. It connected with the it's basically the I suppose that was a city-county building, and there are 3 women coming out of there. And as I've said before, I've been arrested before, and oftentimes when you're arrested, not only are you put in a place you don't like, you have to pay them money, bribery money. You might not think of it that way, to get out of there. It's like when you are pulled over for speeding. You might disagree with me. You might think I'm absolutely wrong or just crazy. But where does that money go? Well, it goes to people, it goes back to the government. So it's a tax for you going at a rate of speed, or whatever. I even heard of a man, even in 2009, that was helping some old ladies across the street. And, it's a tax or a bribe says if you don't want to go to jail, you better pay me. That's the way government works. And we accept the fact that that's part of our lives, and we don't think like that anymore. It's called, if you read the book 1984, which, people get all upset about, when you start, we read the book, that's fine, but when you start applying it, people get all upset. It's talked about a thing in there called newspeak. Newspeak was a new way of thinking where you substitute words for new words that make you think of a certain thing, that change your mindset, so you don't no longer have much of a language or any language, theoretically any language, to communicate in. That communicates your ideas very easily. It's very hard once they start changing your language to be able to think in ways that the government doesn't like. So I call it a bribery. You can call it a tax. Even it's hard to say call it a tax. But, some people just call it a parking ticket, a speeding ticket. In 2009, there was a man who was helping, I believe, a couple of old ladies across the street, and he crossed in the middle of the street. And both he and the old lady, I believe some old ladies, an old lady, I believe, or an older lady, or two older ladies, were crossing in the street. And what happened was, he got hit. And I think they got injured too a little bit. And as he was being taken to the hospital, the cop stopped. He was being taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The cop stopped and gave him a ticket for jaywalking. You say, well, that's ridiculous. Well, it comes down to what you're used to and what's socially acceptable. If we all got tickets for jaywalking, we might have all agreed. Listening to Dr. Laura Schlesinger, who reported on it, she said, well, he deserved to get a ticket. He was due a ticket. He was crossing in the middle of the street. He should have taken the elderly ladies to the corner. He should have got a ticket. I think the old ladies who were crossing with him got a ticket too. So this may be what you consider justice, that crossing at the wrong side of the street means justice must be done. But that's exactly what's happening. If you want to call that justice, then that's exactly what's happening. We're getting justice for crossing where we're not allowed to cross the street. People say that doesn't happen. Anyway, this is also something else that doesn't happen. 6 arrests. I can go through that in a mile, but 6 arrests, 4 macings, and I've been through this. You can see my videos about it. It has to do with this claim or that claim or the other claim, criminality, all this stuff. 6 arrests. That's been in my city. I've been arrested. I think probably maybe more than that now, but I was arrested in another city. I go from a Christian perspective, which I promote. You're talking about stuff that you're talking about. What Jesus said: arrest persecuted from city to city. 6 arrests, 4 macings. Can you see that? I can't see right now here. 4+ beatings. That includes being beaten naked in the jail by the jail lieutenant for nothing. And I never fought back. 0 convictions. It's a lot of arrests for 0 convictions. Maybe they don't really want to convict me. Or maybe there's nothing to convict, is what I'd say. 0 justice. So I ran across this preacher, one of those ones that, it says, I hope you're going to be in heaven, blah, blah, blah. I hope you're going to be in heaven too. And you want to punch him in the face. Upon reaching my car, there were some women, I probably shouldn't call them ladies, that were coming out of the city-county building where I'd paid money before for a false criminal charge, which was dropped. I believe that was that. No, I think that was another time. Okay. And what happened was, as they were walking out, going through the walkway, they saw me carrying the sign, and they looked down and started reading it from far off because it's pretty big, and they started laughing. All three of them started laughing, and I said, "Oh, it's not real." I thought I'd just joke around with them, and they kept on laughing. And I said, "You don't think that really happened, do you?" And they just kept laughing. They thought it was very funny. I said something else, and they keep laughing. We live in an evil society wherever we work.